Welcome back. Final match of the night. Dom Cooney, Luke Gilbert up against Eddie Barker and Dylan Leary. Simple scenario. If Dom and Luke avoid defeat, they will go through. If Eddie and Dylan win this match, it will be a 6-red shootout.
Eddie puffed the cheeks as if to say, cheers partner, what do you play there? And what happens in 8-ball pool is most of the time when you play a bad positional shot, it starts to snowball and the next one gets a little bit worse and a little bit worse until you either run out of position or you miss. He's trying to pop the one over the left centre here. He's playing the billiard.
Oh, that's brilliant. It's come out really well as well.
It actually snicks the yellow. Just watch the cue ball. He didn't play it off the yellow, but he'll take it. He was playing to pot the red, so we'll give him that one.
Gave him a nice easy pot into the centre, the ability to leave the angle. They want to come up the table and the 8-ball goes in, so that's worked out very well for him.
Just needs to mind his work here because he's got to screw all the way into bulk. Just missed the middle pocket with the cue ball.
Your cue ball's close. He's okay. And just enough angle to get the cue ball out enough to be on the 8.
Yeah, anywhere on the bulk line or level with the bulk line will do. You don't need to try and get too cute with it. Just past the bulk line, still leaves it dead straight.
And 1-0, lovely reverse clearance from Leary and Barker. All built on the back of that shot in the middle from Dylan.
Yeah, and that's a good way. It's a bit of a tip to play positional shots. If you've got a target for the cue ball, whether it be, let's have another look at this billiard. Yeah, when you're playing a positional shot, if you've got a target, whether it be a little chalk mark, a finger mark, the bulk line, the spot, anything, when you've got a target for the cue ball, it's so much easier rather than just playing the cue ball into almost a sea of grey and thinking anywhere there. I always try and play for little targets like the bulk line or the spot, or like I say, it can be a little chalk mark on the table, a little chalk mark on the cushion. So much easier when you've got something to aim for.
Yeah, well, almost the worst thing you can do is just say anywhere in that area, be precise, and you can have better rewards. No reward here for Dylan Leary with this opening break. So Luke Gilbert is going to have a chance to get his partnership going here.
Straight away, he hasn't played the best of shots. He wanted to leave an angle on this yellow he's about to pot. He would have loved to be able to have just stunned up into the red. Didn't have that angle, so he's now going to play it off the one on the rail, providing he hasn't snookered himself on it. Snookered himself behind his other yellow, that is.
Reaction tells us he has. He had. Not going to chase the finish though. Just turn the table over.
A couple of options. Plant into the right middle. Cut into the top right corner, if he can see enough of it. Just got to watch the cue ball if he does choose to play the plant, as it's going to be heading somewhere towards the left centre. Looks pretty much dead set, the plant. Oh, there was the cut, and what about this for a shot?
A couple of big shots already from Dylan Leary in this match.
Yeah, he looks up for it, doesn't he now? He's got that angry look about him, and it looks like it means business in this match. And if he carries on playing like this, we're going to be in for a 6-red shootout.
Problem with that shot was he was going into balls and moving things all over the place, never guaranteed to come out well.
Yeah, well, could have been better, but it could have been worse. There is still a pattern to get out here. He's let this one get away. He needs a big bounce. So the red that is at the bottom of the line in the center of the table there, that passes into the bottom left corner, and he needs to be somewhere near straight on it. I'm not sure he can get there from this.
He is digging.
Wow, that's just probably wiped, or will wipe, 4 to 5 minutes off the clock.
Yeah, it's also a strange shot for me. He's put one of his reds into an awful position and wasn't going to gain any advantage in the tactical exchange.
A little bit shocked that Look didn't roll up to that instead of doubling it away and try to snooker Dylan. Or dump the cue ball behind the 8 ball or something. Yeah, and that's why I said it was probably going to wipe a few minutes off the clock, because this is one of them positions where it's hard to maneuver your balls into position.
He's got to be careful here. Yeah, that's okay. Just for a second, I thought he had to be careful not to leave a little snick on the red, because the cue will be going in to open things up, but he's just come far enough across.
What this does do, though, is if it does end up being 8-9 minutes left on the clock. Oh, that's a careless one. Yeah, what I was going to suggest is if Dylan and Eddie were to win this frame and it does leave 8-9 minutes left, it would be serious for Dom and Luck, because they'd be 2-0 down with 8 minutes or so left. As it's turned out, I think they're going to get away with it. This is not perfect. The plant's offset, the cut's thin. So what happened there was simply missed it too thick, because he's trying to generate an angle that isn't there. He knew that if he potted it certainly into the middle of the pocket, that the cue ball would have probably been an extra at least 2 inches over into the middle of the table.
That's changed this frame completely.
Yeah, it has, but he had no choice but to dump the red up the side cushion. He couldn't hit it any harder because he didn't want the cue ball to pop out. And yellows are still, well, I was going to say still a huge favourite. Yeah, I think they are, but the cue ball's awkward. Can he drop the bottom red in slow enough to hold for the other one in the same pocket?
First glance, it doesn't look likely. Another one might be in the way as well. Yeah, it's very tight. This is tough. Oh, and that's careless. That's almost a gift.
What he did have there, Si, as well, was red up the side cushion, big pocket in the middle off that yellow. How'd he have potted that? I think he would have got out.
Kicking himself to miss such a simple ball as well. Let Luke off. So over half the match gone now. We're into the second 10 minutes and we're 1-1. That frame did use up a decent amount of the clock. It's going to be Dom against Eddie now. Big frame.
It is a huge frame, because if Dom and Luke win this frame, remember that Eddie and Dylan need to win the match. Draw is good enough for the other two.
So Dom with the break. Oh, complete
wow.
miss hit. A complete miss hit. It's the worst break I think I've ever seen Dom Cooney hit, and he knows it. And this 8-ball was flying for a second.
Well, he miscued. He actually miscued it. You saw the cue ball just squirt off his tip, and he actually nearly missed the front ball.
That was incredible.
I think he miscues that. Not a miscue as you at home you would perhaps imagine, where you miss the white or it jumps off the table, but a complete miss hit in terms of the cue ball. He hit it that badly that the cue ball just squirted straight left off the tip, hence why he nearly missed the front ball. Not an ideal time to hit a break like that.
It's given Eddie Barker an opportunity here just to piece one together, because whilst they didn't open up particularly well, there's just enough separation here to get out.
He's got a good touch, Eddie. You can see he hits the ball softly, doesn't he, and just caresses the ball about, and he'll need to have it here, because although these are there, he needs to make sure he gets the cue ball in the right spots, because around the 8-ball it's a little bit congested.
Yeah, trying to create an angle. Just push that one wide. And now it's Dom's turn to have a chance. It's a better chance for Dom than it was for Eddie.
Yeah, and those two yellows that are close together, I think they're a dead set plant into the corner if he needs them. Top one goes into the middle, of course, but always nice to have options. Bumps the 8-ball up, so that now goes into the middle. Again, creating another option for himself.
Well, looks like he's got to play a cannon here. This one has to go well.
He needed to top the cue ball all the way through almost to the pocket there, as he needed the low angle. He's left it, as you say, he may even have the wrong angle where he's actually brushing into the other yellow. And he was.
Made a world of difference. I actually thought he was going to go the other way altogether and actually go up the table and take your option of the plant, just simply because it kept everything simple. A big shot here. In fact, a huge shot here.
It's huge because look at the clock.
Very, very close.
Well, it tells you how close it was, because at that pace, from that angle, the yellow has stayed over the pocket. But that wasn't the bad shot. The bad shot was maybe taking the balls in the wrong order.
So Eddie forced into the double straight away. Makes the double, just knocks that one awkward, but he's on it.
Yeah, and you have to take it now. Sometimes you have to weigh up quickly. Am I going to be better on this ball? Am I going to be better on it again? And the answer there was definitely no, so you play it now.
Just ticked into the final 4 minutes. We're at 15 seconds a shot. Eddie and Dylan to break next as well. This is massive. And they get themselves in front with 3 minutes 18 seconds left on the clock. Time for some more clearances, at least one. They just, in truth, need to not give away a chance here. If they come out messy and they can control the clock, or if they come out good and they can take a finish out.
Yeah, I think you've simply got almost a spin of a coin here for a 6-red shootout. If those two win, it will probably end up a draw. And if Dylan and Eddie win the frame, they've won the match, and it will be a 6-red shootout. So it's this frame determines whether the 6-red shootout or not.
And the 8-ball
was in.
Was tracking, wasn't it? But there's nothing else in, so it's going to be a chance for Team Blessed here.
Yeah, and just check out where this red... Watch this last red that's rolling. It goes off the top cushion, and watch where it finishes. It bumps the other red and sits right on top of the 8-ball. And that changes everything.
Yeah, this is far from an easy chance.
See this red he's potting now? He could have potted that off this yellow and freed his problem red. Didn't spot it, but may elect to play this one off it. So he needs to graze the yellow on the way through to just free the pocket.
Very good. Now it's a great chance. Now they should get it. Now you feel they should just slow it down as well. Use the beeps, use the clock.
Yeah, they have to manage it. They don't want to leave enough time for there to be another clearance in the next frame. Yeah, and I'm not sure they're fully aware of that, because they haven't really played any of these shots on the beeps apart from the 8-ball. But look, could have wasted another 10 or 12 seconds off the clock with that last red alone.
Yeah, and they were 2 shots into this finish when they knew they should get it. The first 2 shots were fantastic, opened everything up, and then they know it's in their hands. So there's 1 minute 22 left rather than, say, 50 seconds, maybe 55. So a dry break here, and all of a sudden they might be sweating it on a Dylan Leary, Eddie Barker clearance. Of course, if they make a ball off the next break, it won't matter at all.
Yeah, if they make a ball off the break, they're through. If they break dry and they're scrappy, they're through. If they break dry and leave a finish, it could be 6 red time.
And it's Dom to break. Remember, his last break was about as bad as he could ever hit one. Much better this time, but it's dry.
And they are going to get the chance, and just look at these yellows. This is where, yes, you need to be quick, but you have got time. And you do have the luxury of your partner can advise you, even though this is not a doubles frame, he can advise you from his seat, or in this case, Eddie's standing next to the table. Controlled that lovely.
Still got 43 seconds left.
Just has to play one tricky positional shot here. If he gets this shot right, which he has, he needs to just bump into the other ball.
.20 seconds. 3 shots.
Eight ball will be in the center. See, he's had the luxury of his partner saying, you've got time, we have a 6 red.
Brilliant from Dylan Leary. The buzzer beater takes us to a 6 red shootout. Incredible. Every break in that match was dry, and you have to say, Luke Gilbert and Dom Cooney just brought that on themselves a little bit. They could have used up an extra 15, 20, maybe even 25, 30 seconds on their previous one, and that would have made a difference to Dylan, because it would have been the clearance would have still been on, but he would have had to run around the table.
Yeah, when you run around the table, you don't have time to think, you don't have time to queue up, you take the balls in the wrong order. I definitely think they could have chipped at least another 20 seconds off the clock, because, as you said, when they played those first 2 or 3 fantastic shots, they could have just, well, they could have potted the last 4 with their eyes closed, so they should have been hitting every single one on the beeps.
It does make a difference, and you said when we were talking about the 6 red shootout earlier on, it makes a big difference how you end up in one, and if that does have an effect here, Dylan Leary and Eddie Barker, from the moment they lost their very first match, would have snapped your hand off for a 6 red shootout, and that's what they have.
And they lose the lag, and they will be going first. Going second gives you the luxury of knowing what you have to beat. And I know you might say, well, what if they put in a quick time? Well, you're going to be trying to get the quickest time possible anyway, but the luxury is if they put in a slow time, you can then just, well, canter around the table, really. You know, if they have a disaster and post a 40-something or even a late 30s, you know you've got the luxury of just taking your time and making sure you don't do nothing stupid, as long as you don't miss a ball. So it is definitely an advantage to go second, in my opinion.
Yeah, if you're new around here, just a quick reminder of what is going on as they finish tied at the top of the table. It's going to be a 6 red shootout. 6 balls are racked. The quickest pair to clear those 6 balls will make it through this group. Alternate shots. It's played in Scotch format.
Yeah, and just to be clear, as long as the ball that you're shooting at is stationary, it doesn't matter if the other 5 balls are still moving, which is a bizarre thing to get your head around as a pool player, the fact that you can still hit the balls while other balls are moving, but those are the rules. And he is going to just drop into these, because just look at where Luke's standing. He's ready, and he's going to soft screw straight there.
And he did have to have other balls moving, but now they can fly. The ball at the other end of the table won't help them. The cue ball's going to be doing some mileage here. Had to wait for a few seconds there.
Oh, thought he would have stunned it. Thought he would have stunned it. It's wasted 5, 6, maybe 7 seconds off.
Yeah, just had to wait too long for too many shots, and it was one that got away from them there. I just think that last one, yeah, be a bit more positive about it. I guess he was tentative because he's thinking if I miss this and it could go anywhere, but got to back yourself to make it.
You have, because I get the feeling that that miss, adding 4, 5, 6 seconds onto the clock, whatever it was, there's a very good chance it's going to be the difference here. If they'd posted a 22-23, I think that's a good time, and that puts pressure on your opponents. I think a 27 or 28, more than beatable.
28.04 is the official time that needs to be beaten. We've seen the times come down with a 6-red shootout. It used to be kind of mid-20s was your par score. It's now early 20s, so 28.04 is definitely significantly over par. Dylan Leary and Eddie Barker have it in their hands right now.
And just to add to that, should be a little bit quicker with the doubles.
Great break.
Oh, what a fantastic break. Oh, I should have been playing the other one.
But if they don't miss, they're through.
Yeah, if they don't miss, they're through. These are perfect. Yeah, this is good. Needs an angle.
Just got to make the pot and don't foul.
Don't foul.
Wow, get the job done. Just for a second you thought that cue ball was going close, but it is Eddie Barker and Dylan Leary that come from behind and get it done in a 6-red shootout. What a turnaround.